Owners didn't want to give me what I deserved. Now they are about to lose a $3 million contract because I resigned. Posted by Crambo. If you like these stories and want to see more, please like and subscribe. Edit, I apologize for the length of this, but I finally stuck it to my bosses, and I couldn't be happier. I am a young project manager for an unlimited commercial GC. I picked up a hammer for the first time 6 years ago, no prior experience. I was raised believing if you work hard and apply yourself, you will be successful. For 2 years, I learned everything that I could in the construction industry. I took my work home with me and studied on my own time to better myself. For that, I was promoted to foreman. I was brought in to take over a small project at a 12-building 120-unit condo complex. It started small, and the board of directors for the HOA told me they loved my professionalism, work ethic, and ability to complete projects on time and under budget. We won a big contract because of that small project. That was 3 years ago. I have since taken over the job of foreman, superintendent, and project manager. I do the billing, meetings with engineers and board members, scheduling, takeoff, material ordering. I even trained the subs on the application of new products because we didn't have enough mid-management. The project just passed $2.7 million. We got a bid request for another $3 million job in the same complex. All the while, the board of directors told me how appreciative they are and how they've gone through 5 different contractors in the years before committing to my company because of my management and quality of work. This boosted my confidence, and I went to the owners asking for the raise they promised me 1 year ago for my production. They told me, "The experience you're gaining is far more valuable." I said, "You're right." I put my resume on public, got contacted by a headhunter, just accepted an offer this week for $80,000 a year salary, full benefits, 28 days PTO including holidays, in the office now, no more working from the field, full in my own truck, laptop, Wi-Fi in my truck for on-the-go billing when I visit the out-of-state projects, $80 per DM, 100% matching 401k for the first 3 years of my employment, quarterly bonus programs. The company I'm with now only pays me $40k, and that's it, none of the above listed benefits. The final nail in the coffin was when the owners bragged about how much my project made in a company meeting and then denied me a Christmas bonus. I laid this offer on their desk Friday and watched their jaws hit the floor. I told the HOA board president of the project I'm running about my resignation when they couldn't match the offer. His eyes got big, and requested a meeting with the owners and expressed serious concern about moving forward with the new project without my involvement. They don't have anyone to replace me, and I'm not gonna lie. It feels good to hurt their pockets when I gave them everything I had for 6 years and only asked for the median project manager salary. Frack those greedy bastards. And now for the top comments. I love this misconception of how they think you're smart enough to do the job but not smart enough to know your worth and look elsewhere. 40k for the job you were doing is criminal. I was at my last job for 3 years. Got a ton of praise and raises the first year, and nothing after that. No raises for 2 years. I recently quit, and they had to replace me with someone who doesn't speak English, which means they're also paying a translator. It takes about 4 months to get up to speed in the position, and even then, you'll spend another 4 to 6 months getting good at everything. So in my absence, my former boss has spent a ton of time picking up the slack. I also didn't give any notice. I put in for 3 days of PTO at the end of the week, and no call no show the following Monday. So they didn't know I quit until 5 days after my last shift. Texted my former boss at 11 a.m., 5 hours late for the shift, that their wage structure was unethical, and I wasn't going to wait around for one of their particularly unsafe drivers to kill someone. That guy really did almost kill several people multiple times. Amazing how that works. I worked for 10 years in a very specialized industry, and every single project made money and got good customer satisfaction. Kind of why they came back to us again and again. My final project was a super rush, super important job with a set in stone end date. Think our original supplier has failed, but we need this job finished in time for the Olympics, which the customer gave to us because of our expertise, and for which my company promised me a promotion if I proved my worth. We achieved the timescale, made money, and the customer was super happy as we pulled his ass out of the fire. So, of course, My company's HR decided they could not give me the promotion because of a reorganization. When I complained to HR, their literal word-for-word response was, "You should feel lucky you have a job." It was my final project because I resigned. I heard through the grapevine that the next multi-million job they got from the customer was managed by a higher grade than me, but zero experience of this industry, and went 3 times over the fixed price budget. The company decided that this part of the business was too high risk and pulled out altogether. 10 years of good profitable business gone. And now for our next story. Wage Theft Revenge. Posted by Hey Therum and Keyboy. I worked in maintenance for a religious organization that owned a large number of aged care facilities. Even though they were supposedly not for profit, they went all out to scam the government for as much money as they could. For example, I once saw a claim for wandering behavior in a bedridden resident so they could claim he had dementia, put him in a locked ward and get extra money. I became aware that they were paying less than the minimum wage for many of the non-nursing staff, a high percentage of housekeeping were from overseas, and God told them they could get away with it. In my country, you can claim back wages for 6 years, and it so happened I was just about to reach that mark, and I was thoroughly sick of their hypocrisy. I scheduled a meeting with the care manager and human resources. In the meeting, I requested to be paid the correct wage. After they realized I was not going to back down, they agreed to pay me correctly and would back pay me, but only if I didn't tell the other employees. I declined, and it ended up costing them over $700,000 to back pay everyone. I was recording the conversation and took them to Fair Work, an independent workplace ombudsman. They made everyone with the same job description as for me redundant because they couldn't think of a way to legally fire me, and then outsourced maintenance, which ended up costing them much more. I took a nice holiday with the redundancy pay and informed them, with documented proof, to the government aged care regulator for the fraud. They were inspected with a fine-tooth comb, and 2 of their flagship homes were put under 6 months of constant government supervision. Always remember that wage theft is the largest crime wave in history, it is ongoing, and no one ever goes to jail for it. And now for the top comments. And I'm so glad you did. Aged care in this country is a disgrace, especially at the moment. I'd rather top myself in my old age than go into one of them. If they're underpaying, you take them for everything you can. Good for you. Each of these places will use you until there is nothing left, then toss you. Worked as a nurse for an LTC and SNF. Anyone besides the nurses and admin is paid shamefully. However, the worst part is how the residents were treated. Yes, some of the staff cared about the residents, however, most did not. Corporate's goal was to try and make money off this facility, so that meant the staff were bare bones, which meant everyone got minimum care they needed. Cooperate also wouldn't pay their bills to other companies, so there were times when we wouldn't have diapers, briefs, oxygen tanks, medications, PPE, clean sheets, etc. I remember a few nights/days I worked. It was just me, 2 other nurses and 3 CNAs for about 120 residents/patients. I finally left when they told me to create the Rona unit on the back half of the Alzheimer's hallway. They said to just place a piece of duct tape down to show 2 different units. When I told them that was not ethically right, but I could lose my license for doing something so negligent. They just told me not to worry. I walked out that same day and never came back. A couple of months later, I checked in with some old coworkers, and they said about 25% of residents died due to the Rona after I left. It broke my heart. Myself and others called state on the facility. When they sent in people to check the building out, the conditions were so bad they called the local police. They actually had to relocate some of the patients due to severe neglect. Corporate got fined, and pretty much every nurse on the shift lost their license, and all of that building's admin were fired. Did anything change around the care of the people? Nope. Same corporation still owns the building. All the companies stealing wages and underpaying employees need to go out of business, and their owners are forced to work a fast food job where only Karens come into order. What's your say on this? Do you have a similar story? Comment below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.